We are living in the best moment in history. What I mean by this is that unlike previous generations, we have the ability to pursue tasks that are deeply meaningful. The problem now becomes that we are met with more options than ever before to choose from. Instead of progressing far in one or two goals of our lives, many of us can find ourselves moving incrementally in many different directions. As a way to avoid this issue of overstretching ourselves, we should live as essentialists, which, according to Greg McKeown, whose book Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less inspired the making of this video, is not about getting more things done, but getting the right things done. Essentialism is a way of thinking about productivity and life. It's an approach for determining where our highest point of contribution lies. According to McKeown, being an essentialist involves making the wisest possible investment of our time and energy. It requires us to make tough decisions since in many cases, making one decision could help to make 1,000 future ones. In order to help reach our goals, McKeown recommends a 3-step process that involves exploring and evaluating, eliminating, and executing. Let's take a look at the first step. Exploring gets us to ask whether certain activities make the highest possible contribution towards a goal. Being an essentialist does not involve signing up for many things simply because someone asks us. Instead, we learn to distinguish the trivial many from the vital few. We must come up with criteria about what is important to us in order to get rid of those activities that fall outside of it. Think of what happens to our closets when we use the criteria, "Do I absolutely love this?" By asking ourselves this, we're able to eliminate the clutter and have space for something better. We could create this elimination criteria by asking the following 3 questions. What am I deeply passionate about? What taps my talent? And what meets a significant need in the world? By setting up criteria, we discern more first so that we could do less later. When we don't purposely and deliberately choose where to focus our energies and time, other people, such as our bosses, colleagues, clients, and even family members will choose for us. We could either make our choices deliberate or allow other people's agendas to control our lives. When it comes to eliminating, McKeown says that we must give ourselves permission to cut out the trivial many so that we have the power to direct our time and energy. By eliminating the non-essential, we could create time to focus on the essential. We can make trade-offs, but we must do so deliberately. Don't think, how can I do both, but rather, which problem do I want? Trade-offs represent a significant opportunity. By forcing us to weigh both options and strategically selecting the best one for us, we significantly increase our chance of achieving the outcome we want. It's not about choosing what we have to give up, it's deciding what you want to go big on. The essentialist cuts out a broad set of options before coming to any. Once we decide which activities and efforts to keep, essentialists invest the time saved by thinking of creative ways that will make execution as easy as possible. Instead of thinking of execution as something that needs to be powered through, it could involve creating a system that will allow us to thrive. Getting rid of obstacles, distractions, unnecessary errands, and meetings that are unproductive will help us focus and reach our goals. By systematically identifying and removing these constraints, you'll be able to significantly reduce the friction keeping you from executing what is essential. Instead of looking for the most obvious or immediate obstacles, look for the one slowing down your progress. An essentialist produces more by removing more instead of doing more. Instead of focusing on the efforts and resources we need to add, the essentialist focuses on the constraints or obstacles we need to remove. Here are 3 tips to do so. Be clear about the essential intent. We can't know what obstacles to remove until we are clear on the desired outcome. When we don't know what we're trying to achieve, all change is arbitrary. So we must ask ourselves, how will we know when we are done? Identify the slowest hiker. Make a list of the obstacles standing between us and getting something done. Prioritize this list by asking, what is the obstacle that, if removed, would make the majority of other obstacles disappear? Keep in mind that even activities that are productive, like doing research or emailing people for information, can be obstacles. Anything slowing down the execution of that goal should be questioned. Avoid perfectionism. Shift to a mentality that done is better than perfect, rather than aiming for perfection. Thinking that things have to be perfect will prevent us from moving forward with things. Start adopting the mentality that everything is a work in progress. To conclude, whatever decision or challenge or crossroads you face in your life, simply ask yourself, what is essential, and eliminate everything else. We should start small and celebrate progress. When we start small and reward progress, we end up achieving more than when we set up big, lofty, and often impossible goals. As a bonus, the act of positivity reinforces our successes and allows us to reap more enjoyment and satisfaction out of the process. Thanks for watching.